This story goes back to when I was in the 11th grade. I had a high school project that in English that was a presentation. I saw the due date on when it was supposed to happen, and it was on Halloween. So I naturally decided to do the project on something scary. And it was about demonic possession. So I had about a week to try to do my best to do research on this. Mostly everything that I did was either watching awesome horror movies or was it looking online, which that was pretty effective. Was it? Well, online was. And then my father told me that he had a friend who saved souls. And by that, he meant he performed exorcisms. So at that point, he was able to set up a phone conversation between me and him. And during this phone conversation, he explained the perils of his life. He explained how he had to basically live alone, even though he had a wife. He had a kid. He said, unfortunately, due to the nature of what he did, even though he was protected by God, the demonic forces would attack his family. His wife would end up having an accident, or then his child became ill, and then eventually even his wife became ill. So he ended up having to, more or less, couldn't live at home. And they eventually got better. Now, during this phone conversation, which he was talking about what he did, my father and I, it was just us, and we were sitting in the living room, and as we're sitting there, you could hear just the sounds of footsteps throughout the house, which we had a few levels. We had about a kind of like a 3-story house that we were living in, and you could hear someone going up and down the stairs in the living room, and then even behind us, which behind us was the living room, but it had windows that led outside to the backyard. We were hearing tapping on the windows. just behind us. So I would flip on the switch to see what was there, and there was nothing out there. So as he continued on, we could feel just this overwhelming, radiating energy of just being in, I would almost say, a theater. And we were on stage, and there was a large group of people, but all that we could see were just shadows. The whole living room was getting darker. And then he ended up saying a prayer, and at the end of the prayer, the whole area was clear. Honestly, we didn't know what to really think. He said, well, that's going to be it for the night. He said, it was a pleasure talking with you both, and take care. He hung up. I had the whole conversation recorded, and maybe I might be able to find the recording, but it's been years, and even back then I've lost the recording after the project. So I went in. It's October 31st. It was a Wednesday. And I was set to go up after 2 presentations. The first person needed a TV for their presentation. So, at that point, the AV club person walked in and wheeled in the TV. Ended up turning it on, and within that moment, the TV fried out. The AV student looked at it and couldn't figure out what was going on. I figured, or we all figured, public school at its best. So, the guy went on to go get another TV, and within that moment, another person came up to do a presentation, and as they did, everything was fine. Everything was normal. And then the AV student came back in with another TV. And powered it on. And what was heard was a loud screeching sound, and that TV fizzled out like the last. So, the teacher looked at me and said, well, go ahead. I got up. I had my recording, and I hit play. So as I let the recording continue on, which everyone could hear, I had other visual pictures that described the different levels of demonic possession that people undergo And as I'm going on with the project, this one girl, which I knew from my neighborhood, her name was Kelly. She kind of looked over and just blurted out, "How are we supposed to believe in this?" And within a moment of her saying that, I noticed immediately a scratch on her neck and blood started to draw. She reached up and clenched on her neck, and the teacher looked at her with shock and said, "Kelly, go to the nurse's office." And she got up quickly and ran out. I'm still continuing on with my project, but I could feel the atmosphere just building up. And then I could see just kind of everyone looking drained. So within about, I would say, 8 minutes, the presentation ended. The prayer happened, and I turned it off. My teacher said I deserve a A plus plus. Everything seemed fine, and then that was the end of my day. I had enough credits that I spent about probably 3 periods uh, in school, and then I had the rest of the day off. That was my last class. So when I got home, I a tradition that my father and I like to do, which we were doing for years, is to do a haunted porch, which everybody in the neighborhood liked. So as we're getting everything set up and I'm putting black felt on the outside of the porch on the hooks, it it was trash day. All of a sudden, which is normal, the garbage truck drove up and it got right up to the front of our house and then it died. Thought that was kind of strange. Well, it got my attention more, and because I just thinking of all these strange things that were happening, and my dad said, "Oh, those things happen all the time. Old trucks." So within about 45 minutes, a second truck is now making its way over to the first truck, and then as it gets up to the front of our house and it's starting to back up, or should I say, is starting to make it was its way to the truck, that truck dies too, right in front of our house. So now we have two garbage trucks parked right out in front of our house, dead, and they both called a third. Another hour goes by, and here comes the third truck. At this point, my dad and I are kind of looking, just kind of thinking, "Oh man, is this one going to die here too?" And then that one was able to get both trucks started. They picked up the garbage and continued on their route. After that, it seemed more or less a normal Halloween. But those points always still stay in my mind about that project. Where you go, where you go, where you go. Where are you going? Where are you going?